Welcome back to Where the Boro Walk. Every week we ask the question, who's responsible for not... Welcome back to Where Boro Walk. Every week we ask the question, who's responsible for Boro not picking up 3 points? There's only one clear winner of that debate this week. It's all over social media, but I want to see if Rich and Will agree. Subs cost us a game. Carrick making changes. Leith's dropping. And oh my word, Bergzog is useless. We have got lots to discuss as to how on earth Watford came away from that game with 3 points. Robbery, daylight, two words that many people are using. Welcome to the quickest and most comprehensive review of all things Boro on the internet. Drop us a like, drop us a subscribe, and we will get the titles rolling. There's no getting away from that. Boro should have been out at sight at half-time and went on to lose the game. We're talking Watford, and we're also asking you about home atmospheres. What's the earliest that you've ever left a Boro game? We'll ask Rich and Will for that. And what's been the atmosphere like at the Riverside as we get the lowdown on just whether this championship season is not attracting and living up to its expectations just yet. Right, let's get into the Watford result, shall we? Will kick us off this week. What went wrong?
Well, I saw a tweet saying we were great for 83% of the game, and then after that, it's like we just gave up. We just said, "There you go, Watford. You can take the 3 points."
Do you jump on board with the fact that Carrick cost at you? He took your wide men off that were killing Watford, so the Watford fans said, and essentially let them right back in the game.
Yeah, I thought taking both Hamilton and Dokov was strange. I thought they were our two brightest players. Hamilton hasn't had loads of minutes, neither has Doak, so maybe there was a bit of fatigue there. But then McGree and Jones didn't exactly come on and light themselves in glory.
Rich, what's your take on it all?
Yeah, I've held back from not being critical of Carrick, but I fully blame him for that result on Saturday. It's the substitutions. We were all over them. It was like men against boys at times on Saturday, in my opinion. And again, missed chances, poor tactical decisions. It seemed like the minute they put a bit of pressure on us, we just folded.
We've been here so many times, though, Rich. We could go back to video 2 again. We could go to Swansea. We could go back to, oh goodness, Derby. We could go. How many games are you going to turn up, especially away from home? Dominate possession, dominate the goal scoring chances, and still come out the losers. It's going to come a point, isn't there, where someone's going to say enough is enough with this. We've got the squad to go up. You should be top, given the chances, the XG, the big moments in games. But the only reason you're not is because it's just something not quite right, and you can only point to the manager. Will, are you having that?
I think there has to be a case of Carrick has to now take some blame and come out and say that maybe he needs to switch things up. He can't take responsibility for players missing chances. Azaz had a header, Lath had a header, but I think both in the first half that debatably should have been goals. But I think substitutions. I think Carrick's always left subs too late. And he's been too sort of fickle in the way that he plays and not switching it up, going maybe a bit more direct. I think he needs to take some accountability now.
Okay. Rich, Azaz didn't get many people's Man of the Match award at all following that. And Nathan says, I'm so sick of Azaz doing 5 fake shots, then doing absolutely nothing after them. Today was on Carrick. They made 5 or so substitutions a game, and Carrick made the exact same 3 subs he normally makes. It's just so predictable. And let's focus on Lath for a second. Woody says, who's going to say it them? He's terrible, and Azaz should be nowhere near the team. Oh my goodness. It was that away game at Cardiff where he'd been, he was tapped up and possibly on his way out. And since then, is it fair to say we've not seen him have a good game?
I think it's a funny one, we'll laugh, because I've been from day one, if he wants to go, let him go. I don't want players here. We've been through all that with the likes of Martin Braithwaite in the past. The minute there's a sniff of a move, but he is trying. He looks absolutely devoid of confidence, or he did on Saturday anyway. He just is part of that effort. Yeah, I would say it is. Has his head been turned? I would arguably say yes, it has. But I don't know. I don't think we're playing with strengths either. There's a lot of balls going in the box, head height, and although he's really good in the air for his height, he's playing against 6'4" defenders, and he's unless he's unmarked, he's not winning them headers.
What about Azaz then for you, Will? Is he need dropping?
I think so. I said it last week. He has his name at the top of XG and chances created, but yeah, he got an assist on Saturday. Granted, I'm not sure if he meant to do that cross, but yeah, as the tweet said, he does those fake shots and it comes to nothing. It's shots outside the box. I want him to be that sort of number 10 where he's playing passes through on goal for Lath and Lath finishing those chances, rather than sort of pop shots that go wide or keeper makes an easy save. So I think I'm not sure who the man to come into that position is. McGree is good off the left. Maybe see Hamilton in there. But I'm not sure we've got a like-for-like 10 at the moment that can just come in to replace him.
Okay. And lastly, goalkeeper. First bit of criticism I've seen Rich all season for Dieng, but he has to do better with both goals, in my opinion. But did go on to say still 6 points from 9 this week and 3 good performances bodes well for the rest of the season. We can't be too downhearted, can we? Because you went to West Brom and put in a decent performance there, and not many teams are going to get 3 points from the Hawthorns. But just that word on Dieng, should he have done better for the goals?
Yeah, I did make a comment on the first one, especially at the time when I saw it go in. I think he should have got down quicker. I did see a stat which I tried to find again and I couldn't. So whether this stat is correct, I don't know. But before the Stoke game, the last 9 shots that he'd faced on target, 6 of them had gone in, which for me isn't top of the championship form. But he's also made some very important saves, and he suits our style. So trying to replace him at this, you're going to have to spend a lot of money to replace somebody like that. Mm-hmm. So,
right, something just to keep an eye on. Then, okay, then we're talking about home match atmospheres this week because we've had lots of conversations with Leeds and Sunderland and Sheffield United about quietness in grounds and how it's impacting on attendances and match atmospheres. Will, what's Riverside been like in terms of atmospheres this season in comparison to previous?
I think it's easy to compare it to the season with Akpom on fire. A couple of seasons ago where it was bouncing every game. Our home form was brilliant. I think it's been quite flat. I think it's just been, our home form hasn't been exactly bad. Hasn't been exactly amazing though. But yeah, I think the fans need a sort of run of form to get happy about and excited about, and maybe even more attacking football as well, because right now we're quite stagnant and it's all a bit flat.
Mm-hmm. Rich, you agree with that?
Yeah, I would totally agree. I mean, we've got the South and the Red faction that try the best every game, to be honest, to get us going. But I sit up the other end in the North, and it's around me is a good crowd, but it has gone a bit flat at the moment. Just nervous is the way I would describe it. Until we get that goal, there's a lot of nerves in the stands at the moment. Okay. I think.
All right, and finally, then we're asking, what's the earliest you've ever left a game? This was because Sunderland fans missed Mellier's John Klanger in their game. Will, you're a young lad. I imagine that you stick it out to the end. But is there any Middlesbrough game that you've walked out just after half time? Or
I think it was 2019, I believe, and we were playing Luton at home, and we lost. I think it was 1-0. I think it was under Woodgate, and it was one of the most sort of dire performances I'd ever seen. But I think I was about 4 or 5 at the time, but it was probably the playoff final against Norwich. I believe probably left that a bit early.
Okay, fair enough. Go on, Rich. You've got a few more years on Will.
I've left at half time before. Going back to the Premier League days, it wasn't really my choice. It was my dad more than anything. But I remember Julian De Freitas, I think Bolton beat us 4-1 at home, and when the fourth went in, I think it was before half time as well. My dad just got hold of me and said, we're going. But I'm normally a stayer, to be honest. Trying to teach my son that he needs to stay till the end as well. So, yeah, I normally like to stay and clap them off, win, lose, or draw, to be honest.
Oh, proper fans. If you can beat half time, drop it in the comments below. We'll catch you next week when, of course, we're previewing Bristol City at home, the Tommy Conway derby. We'll see you then for that. Thanks, Rich. Thanks, Will. And don't forget to subscribe and like.